Hey everyone, so in this video I'm going to be talking about traditional animation that can also be called hand-drawn animation, cell animation or classical. So this is my favourite type of animation and it's really what got me into this whole thing really. One of the big reasons is that I really admire how much work goes into this type of animation. It's the first animation that came along, hence why it's called classical or traditional. So one of the main reasons that animators took so long to animate using this method of animation is that it used no computers at all, because this was before the days of the computers. Yeah, basically any animation that was made before computers would have been using this method. So everything was physically done. I'm going to have a separate video where it goes through all of the stages basically of making a traditional animated movie. But by the end of it, characters are drawn on cell or celluloid sheets, and these sheets are then put on top of backgrounds that are usually painted too. And then there's special cameras that actually took pictures of these scenes from above. So the scene would have been underneath and there was a physical picture that was taken. And for movies where the camera seems to pan into the scene or anything like that, the scene would often actually move. And sometimes in different stages when something called a multiplane camera was used. And sometimes the scene would be on different planes and those would all physically move separately to give it a more realistic look. So then these pictures had to be translated into an actual film. So this is how they went about doing that. So in any video, there's going to be a certain frame rate for it. For movies, it's usually 24. For this video, for example, it's 30. And then there's some videos on YouTube and places like that are really smooth at 60 frames per second. There's also 25 frames per second for things like TV shows in England. So for each second of film, there's usually 12 pictures drawn out. So that would mean that each frame or picture lasts for 2 of the frames per second. So there'll be 12 of the frames per second. Although for high action scenes, there could be 24. So each frame will have a separate picture. Although this number can vary a lot. For example, in Japanese animation, they're notoriously known for having less of these pictures per second. So that's what gives their animation their distinct look. And to actually draw out these pictures, they're drawn on what are called light boxes. So these are basically like tables that have kind of a hole cut out in them and have basically a light in it. And these light boxes let you see the onion skin of previous pictures, which is basically like the outline of the paper that's going to be underneath the paper that you're actually drawing on. So basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about, they draw one picture and then on top of that picture, to make the next picture in the sequence, they'd basically put a paper on top of it, but they'd be able to see the picture underneath it to reference it. But nowadays, animators can draw directly on the computer to avoid lots of this process. They could use something called a drawing tablet, which is kind of like a tablet but it's just made for drawing, or an actual tablet computer where they just draw directly on it. And there's even specialized apps for traditional animation on the computer, such as TV Paint or what used to be called Flash but is now called Adobe Animate. Obviously it's going to look different when it's drawn directly on the computer, but it still kind of gives the same effect and it still is drawn by hand, so it is essentially still hand-drawn animation. And that's what differentiates it from 2D animation that's vector-based, while this is actually drawn. So yeah, that's basically what hand-drawn animation is. There's going to be a lot more stuff that I'm going to talk about for all the types of animation really, although I am starting off with traditional. So be sure to subscribe to see when those videos come out. But that's it for this video. There's going to be a lot more animated related videos coming in the future to do with traditional animation as well as all the other types. So be sure to subscribe to see those. I'm also going to be putting out movie reviews, so there's one of those out already that's available on one of these sites. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like. Be sure to comment down below what you think about these first 2 videos on this channel. So yeah, I hope you'll have a great day. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.